Live from our studios in Lincoln, your news leader. 1011 News at 6 starts now.
A property inspector died after a home explosion, and tonight we learn more about the 30-year-old mother and wife.
SCC says the need is growing and the college needs to expand, but it comes with a cost for taxpayers in 15 counties.
Well, at first, paying at the pump saves you time, right? But after another skimmer is found at a gas station in Lancaster County, what you need to watch out for. The top story on 1011 News at 6. Good evening, everyone. I'm Owen Jensen.
And I'm Bridget Farjan. In the last 2 months, more than 500 people have become victims to credit card theft after skimmers were placed on gas pumps around Lincoln.
That's right. The problem is spreading to the county as well. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, in fact, wants to help you protect yourself. First on 1011 News, Nicole Griffin has the story.
When pumping gas with skimming devices becoming more and more common, people don't just need to pay attention to the price on the pump, but also the pump itself. Criminals who use skimming devices can steal a batch of credit cards, retrieve the skimmer, and move on to the next gas station.
An individual would not be able to tell from the pump themselves whether or not it had been compromised.
Captain Clark with the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office says some of the devices are even Bluetooth enabled. The information can be downloaded without even coming back. The devices are so small and are placed inside the pump. The person using it would have no idea.
It's going to be inside this door here where the actual debit credit card machine actually is located.
On Friday, this skimming device was found on a pump at the Shell station near Highway 77 in Saltillo. LSO is now working with the Lincoln Police Department because the device found is similar to ones found at locations in the city. Captain Clark says people are asking questions like how can they tell if there's a skimming device?
This tape here is completely across the opening there and does not look like it's been tampered with, and the gas pump is good.
The sticker means the pump has been inspected. Inspection.
If there's not a seal or it appears as if it's been tampered with, don't use this part of the machine at all. Go inside to pay for the gas before pumping.
It's important to note that not all pumps will have the sealed sticker on there. Some rely on the lock system. Reporting in Lincoln, Nicole Griffin, 1011 News.
Nicole, thank you. Listen to this now. LSO says gas station skimmers are different than the ones found on ATMs. ATM skimmers you can see. And nationally, ATM skimming has increased 546% from 2014 to 2015.
And crooks are always finding new ways to steal your money. The latest targets in Florida and Kentucky, self-checkout terminals and inside convenience stores. Now, this is at a Kentucky Walmart self-checkout. The man on the right shields his partner, who pulls a skimming device out of his jacket and in just 2 seconds pops it into place.
It's remarkable how fast these things can be put on top of a cash register. The folks who do the credit card skimming, they're basically magicians. They use sleight of hand, and in an instant, they can plop one of these things onto another terminal, almost invisibly.
Now, with the rollout of chip-enabled credit cards, skimming rates will decline, but as much as 30% of credit card holders don't have the cards that have chips, and only about 20% of card terminals are compatible.
Well, turning the weather now, sunny and hot, a pretty typical July day out there, Bridget.
Yeah, no hawk that we can see right now hanging with us today on Skyview, but it's still a pretty nice look at the capital city on this Tuesday evening. So will we see any rain tonight? Here's Sean with the first look at your forecast. Hi, Sean.
Bridget, no rain just yet across the state, but it is lingering just off to our north. In South Dakota, we'll take a look at storm tracker radar. You can see those orange polygons over our banner, and that lets you know there are some storm warnings just off into South Dakota. We do have the chance for some of those storms to dive down into Nebraska. Over western portions of the state, we do have a slight risk, so watching the radar as we go through the next couple of hours here. Temperatures now in the upper 80s, some in the 90s into western Nebraska. Again, that main chance for rainstorms enters in north central Nebraska. We could see some around Lincoln. We'll take a look at the details in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Sean. An update on an inspector killed after an Omaha home explosion. The property management company says tenants had been evicted from the home prior to the blast. Clara Bender, a mother and wife, had worked for CPM since November of last year. Her husband had worked for the company for several years. The explosion happened just after noon yesterday. Bender was pulled from the rubble and taken to Nebraska Medical Center, where she later died.
There's not a whole lot of structure left to go to give us an indication of what is happening. So they're going to have to take a while to piece through the debris and analyze it from there and decide what happened.
Now, the company was working with former renters to get belongings out of the property who had been there as recently as last weekend.
Tonight, an update now on the case that triggered an Amber Alert earlier this month. The mother who was accused of kidnapping her newborn son from the hospital will be charged in felony court. 34-year-old Lacey Tuttle is set to appear in Madison County District Court on August 19th. She's charged with kidnapping her 2-day-old son from Faith Regional Health Services in Norfolk on July 10th. The baby's disappearance triggered a statewide Amber Alert. The baby was found safe, and his mother was arrested hours after the alert was issued. Well, the body found in the Bassway Strip near Minden back in June has been identified, according to the Buffalo County Sheriff's Office. The body has been ID'd as 40-year-old David Neal of Iowa. The identification of Neal came through the help of family members and the confirmation of tattoos and historical information. Neal is believed to have last been seen in the area on May 9th. Officials say Neal purchased a raft and was seen in the Platte River near Kearney. The Sheriff's Office said Neal had previously lived in Colorado as well as the Des Moines, Iowa area.
Southeast Community College serves more than 9,000 students across their 3 campuses, but they are still struggling to meet increased demand.
So a bond issue will appear on the November election ballot, asking for some of your money, and the vote will determine the course of the next decade. Tell them Joe Musso live in the studio with the story. Hi, Joe.
Thanks a lot, Owen. Dr. Paul Illich, president of Southeast Community College, addressed the Lincoln Rotary Club today, revealing a massive 10-year expansion plan for the school. The presentation was loaded with details, but Illich boiled it down to producing the qualified workers that our state desperately needs. The plan will include reconstruction and expansion of all 3 existing campuses, as well as creating an additional 6 satellite facilities in western Nebraska. The funding for the project relies on the passing of the November bond issue. In terms of your bottom line, the money will come from the proposed tax increase. Families with a $100,000 home, for instance, will pay an estimated maximum of 39 additional tax dollars annually. But Illich feels the expansion will help them fill statewide needs.
And this is really what we're talking about today, these 2 issues. We have a lack of qualified workers. You heard Michelle say that in Southeast Nebraska. We have a need to have an affordable option to higher education. That's one of the top issues in higher education today.
SEC is currently struggling to meet student demand in various technical divisions. Illich says they have massive waiting lists for dozens of programs, some stretching 3 years long. He believes that the expansion will help alleviate the problem. President Illich also added that the expansion of Southeast facilities will directly impact Nebraska's economy because the vast majority of their graduates take jobs in-state once finishing school. Owen?
All right, thanks, Joe. Well, be patient, drivers, as construction along Highway 2 in Lincoln progresses. Drivers get ready for more intersections to close overnight.
Starting tonight at 7 o'clock, the Highway 2 intersections at 33rd, 40th, 48th, and 56th streets will be closed. The closure will go through 6 a.m. Now, this will also take place on Wednesday and Thursday overnight. At Big Ten Media Days, hear from Michigan State's football coach reflecting on the tragedy this past weekend that claimed the lives of Sam Foltz and Mike Sadler. We'll take you there live to Chicago.
Plus, a Lincoln boy lives with a rare disorder, how his family helps him cope, and who they lean on for support. That's later on in a special report. But first, a look at today's Lincoln and Grand Island weather almanacs.